We have sound. Do we have sound? We have audio. I literally did nothing. Checked. I literally did nothing, and now we have sound. Well, everybody, welcome to Mama's Void Side Chats, Jazz Hands. Oh, I hope I have absolutely. Here, hold on, for everybody watching. That was so kind.
I'm not asleep. Go on, speak.
It's that low growly voice every time. Oh my god. But here. Boop.
What happened?
So cute.
Here's one more person who won't let go.
I know, baby. Oh, my honey. Well, let's. Have you guys seen the most? So I'm so excited because I unlocked. I've almost fully unlocked all of his relax times, but this is adorable. This one.
Yes. Come closer. That won't work on me. Then look, you didn't expect me to turn the tables.
I should expect you to turn the tables. I should absolutely look. Okay, so now that sound is working and I would you like to say something, Sai? Okay. Let's get into this. So I really wanted to kind of start this stream with with more tabs than Jesus open on my computer. He's so sweet. He's adorable. He's my baby. I'm so excited. So
At the fashion show,
let's just get official with
I
this.
saw a dress with the night sky stitched over a river. I ordered
I
one
put on
for
my
you.
official streaming voice.
It'll be sent once the measurements are correct.
Oh, Sai, you spoil me so much. Here we go. Ready? You're gonna get the professional. Hey everyone. Welcome back to Mama Void's Void Side Chats. Today we're continuing our main story playthrough and live analysis of Love and Deepspace. So last stream, which again, thank you, Miss Vanda, for joining at the end. You brought me such joy. Last stream we completed chapter 1 to begin, and chapter 2, the first mission. This time we are going to be diving into chapter 3. In the first 2 chapters, we met the core cast. We got the basic structure of the world, and we watched the story kind of plant the first real seeds of its main conflict. And we were also introduced immediately to what I believe is one of the most critical reoccurring motifs and themes of this story, which is time. Specifically, time that loops. Now, in the cold opening of chapter 1, we have this lovely cinematic trailer almost. It's not an interactive track. It's just pretty much a cinematic trailer. But we've got the traceback to broadcasting. And in that broadcast, it does not frame time as this fun sci-fi mechanic. It frames it as a trap. The language is very fatalistic. You'll hear it, we are stuck in this loop, this never-ending journey. That's an admission of powerlessness. That's not, we're traveling through time, timey-wimey, Doctor Who, everything's a grand adventure. That's, we can't get the fuck out. help. Like the language is a lot more desperate. It's a bit more, it's coded very differently. So if we take the story at its word, we have to ask a slightly unnerving question very early on, which is the true antagonist of Love and Deepspace a person, or is it time itself? So not ever, not a corporation, not a single villain with a face, or well, a council of villains as we later discover, but time. And then the next question becomes, what does the story mean when it says time? Because there are different ways to mythologize time, and they can really change how we interpret the narrative thus far. So we're gonna, let me break this down for you. We're gonna hop over into mythology, and I'm gonna give you two perspectives. We're gonna start with the West, and we're gonna start with Greek mythology. Shocking, I know, Greek mythology, but that's kind of my wheelhouse. It was something that I grew up loving as a kid, and I still do to this day. I find Greek mythology incredibly fascinating. So I want to talk about the figure Kronos, which is Chronos, Kronos. And we need to do a quick mythology housekeeping here because this gets messy in pop culture, and I don't want us to move forward building our analysis of this story on any misunderstandings. So when people say Kronos, as in Chronos, they usually mean time personified. Time as a cosmic force, not a character with a backstory so much as an abstraction given name. Time as a duration, passage, inevitability. The thing that moves whether you consent or not. But you also hear Kronos used when people are actually thinking about Kronos, as in Cronus. And Kronos is not time as a metaphysical law. Kronos is a titan, a specific figure in Greek myth, the son of Uranus and Gaia, and the father of Zeus and the Olympians. Now, I don't know how familiar y'all are with Greek mythology in terms of this particular myth, but Kronos overthrows his father Uranus, and then fate essentially turns on him, and a prophecy is delivered that one of his own children will overthrow him just as he overthrew his father. This is critical. This is the part that matters because it reframes everything Kronos does afterwards. Yes, Miss Phantom. So you will see in the Roman spelling, they will sometimes use a KR to spell it as opposed to a C. But that one, you're on the right track. That's that Kronos with the K, and then in the Greek it's the C, the CRONUS versus the KRONUS. But Kronos, CRONUS, I feel like I have to keep spelling because the pronunciation is so similar. But because this prophecy, he doesn't eat his children, which he famously did. He swallowed every child his wife gave him. But they didn't die. They just kind of hung out in his belly together, like a grand old, really weird party, sort of. But he doesn't eat his children because he enjoys it. It's not some sadistic fun for him. He eats them because he believes that if he can remove the future before it arrives, fate itself cannot be fulfilled. So his violence is fear-driven. His control is reactive. He is not the source of fate. He's terrified of it, really. Yes, they were basically trapped within time. And they were in this liminal space, really, inside his belly, like you do with the gods. But as we know, it doesn't work. Zeus survives because his mother tricks Kronos into swallowing a rock wrapped in a blanket, and then fate pretty much asserts itself anyway. So the confusion between Kronos, Chronos, and Kronos, Cronos, happens for a few reasons. One, their names are nearly identical, as I've just demonstrated in English. Two, Kronos' acts of devouring his children become kind of an easy symbolic shorthand for time devouring everything. And then three, later arts and modern retellings kind of collapse the whole metaphor, and the character, until Kronos becomes kind of time dad, even though mythologically he's not time itself. He just kind of assumes the role in modern social thought and culture. And you might be asking yourself, why is Mama being so persnickety and picky about the distinction, and why we're suddenly in the midst of this conversation? Well, here's why I mean picky about the distinction. If we read a story through Kronos, as in Cronus, it changes our interpretation of the antagonist, because the antagonist energy is fear-based control, a ruler trying to outmaneuver prophecy, a system that suppresses futures because it's afraid of what comes next. Fate is the pressure, control is the response. Okay? If we read the story through Kronos, as in Chronos, then that same antagonistic energy shifts completely in the other direction. Now we're dealing with a cosmic inevitability, not a tyrant making decisions, but a structure that erases, resets, and continues regardless of intent. Time doesn't protect itself. It doesn't fear rebellion. It simply proceeds. So one lens says, I'm being controlled by a power that's afraid of losing. The other says, I'm trapped inside a system that doesn't even have to want anything. And both are unsettling, but in very different ways. In a Kronos, Chronos, flavored interpretation, time isn't neutral. It's not just a clock, it's a force with weight, pressure, and consequence. Time becomes something you can't be punished by, something that feels hostile by simply existing. So when Traceback 2 broadcasts talk about being stuck, about a never-ending journey, it starts to sound less like travel and more like attrition. Like the universe isn't fighting them, it's simply wearing them down, eating their progress, resetting the board. And once you see that distinction clearly, it becomes much easier to ask the real question the story keeps circling. Are these characters fighting a tyrant, or are they fighting the nature of reality itself? Yes, you meet the fate on the road to avoid it. Yes, exactly. So, but we have to remember, as an audience and consumers of this media, that the developers and the story writers are from China. So we, at least I, as a Western viewer, an American viewer, am looking at this through a Western perspective, because that's what I was raised on. That's my comfort zone. That's my natural cultural context. And I'm assuming for the both of you, Morgan and Miss Fandom, that are you US based? I'm assuming you're Western as well, given the time zones. Yes, US based. So you're like me. We have this Western bias because that's what we're most often exposed to. We have to go out to seek the other perspectives. So I did that actually. I went out and I went to diving. And I went and looked at Buddhist tradition, which I think is much more common in Asian media, obviously. I lived in Japan for a while, so you had the combination of both Shinto traditions and Buddhist traditions alive and well in that particular culture. So I wanted to go see what is happening over there. Now, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this, but please bear with me, and I'm so sorry. So yes, now because the game is developed in China, I think it's incredibly relevant that we actually look at this through a Buddhistic lens. So Mahakala, if I say that, Mahakala, Mahakala. Mahakala has basically entered the chat here. And for Mahakala is a wrathful protector figure in Buddhist tradition, if I'm understanding it correctly. And his name literally ties to great time. He's often depicted as terrifying, not because he's evil or malicious or violent, but because he represents something people fear, which is the unstoppable nature of time, impermanence, and the destruction of illusion. This is the key difference from a Chronos devours you vibe. In Buddhist thought, the suffering isn't usually framed as time hates you. It's framed as time is a condition of existence, and existence is bound to cycles. So the wheel keeps turning. Cause creates effect, attachment creates suffering, not because a god is malicious, but because reality has rules, and we all hate rules. So Mahakala is this framework. He isn't a villain. He's the embodiment of the truth nobody wants. 1, you can't hold on to what changes. 2, you can't freeze what moves. And 3, you can't bargain your way out of impermanence. So if Love and Deepspace is flirting with that kind of framework, then time becomes even scarier in a different way. Not because it's cruel, but because it is absolute. Not malicious, not personal, just law. Which brings us right back to the core philosophical question the game keeps poking. If fate and time operate like laws, like gravity, what does defiance even look like? Can you fight something that doesn't have intent? Can you rebel against a system that simply is? And here's where the story structure reveals itself, because once you see time, fate as the governing pressure, you realize something that ties directly into MC and every love interest. Every route is a variation on the same problem. How do I get what I need without sacrificing the one thing I refuse to give up? Hey, Nikki! Thanks so much for joining, bestie. Welcome to class. I unfortunately didn't have time to really dive into Shintoism. Basically, our MC and the allies just fucked no matter. That's the question. Are they? Nikki may have to put some Shintoism in the chat because she's a bit more up to date on that. I unfortunately wasn't able to do a deep dive and really focus more on Buddhistic tradition. But yes, Miss, you're hitting the nail on the head here. How we interpret time really hits into that question. If you view time under the concept of Mahakala, again, apologies to anybody who listens to this after the fact, then it almost gives this sensation of, are the MCs and the allies just fucked no matter what? Because you can't fight that. You can't. That is an overarching inevitability. This is almost Sisyphean. Yeah, because you're rolling the rock up the hill and inevitably the rock's going to come down and crash you, and you're just going to keep repeating this mess no matter how hard you try. That's your fate. It does give that sense, which, I mean, we do jokingly call this game Love and Deepspace. So that kind of fatalistic, inevitable tragedy, just, it gives that flavor, doesn't it? It really does. So when I say that every route is a variation on the impossible problem of how do I get what I need without sacrificing the one thing I refuse to give up, for the allies, that one thing is always the same. It's her, it's MC. The plot seeds we caught in chapters 1 and 2. Now, on a practical level, we see, 1, Xavier's suppression collar. We see it. It's shown to us on purpose. It's not named. It's not explained. It's not even contextualized yet, which means it's going to matter later. They from a craft perspective, they are absolutely flagging that this is critical, like, notice us. But I mean, really, the developers go out of their way to frame shots in such a way that the collar is subtly the main focus of the moment. And they purposely draw eyes to it and then offer no further information. And what I think, from a craft perspective and a storytelling perspective, is the beautiful thing is that the setting and the technology, you can easily dismiss it as advanced hunter gear and never consider that it might be something more. You see it, you note it, and then you just kind of file it away because they've already given you a world where you've seen light swords, wanderers, and all this sci-fi tech. So why wouldn't the collar just become another piece of that? You know, just another thing that we don't know what it's doing. We know it's blue and sometimes red, but we don't really get or think about anything further than that. And then 2, Zane's secretive visits to the Arctic and Mount Eternal are introduced, and his connection to Xander's science via Raymond. We're introduced to this recruitment pressure early, and if you've played ahead, which I know we discussed with the two of you, you know that this thread will grow teeth later when we hit Death and Rebirth. That will come back into play. But they've set it up here instantaneously within, the first few sub-chapters of chapter 1. We get this. Then we hit 3, which is Caleb. And Caleb's classified missions into the deep space tunnel for the DAA. the question I'm tracking is, are those missions really for the DAA? Or is Caleb already entangled with something else? The Far Space Fleet. Information restrictions. The kind of, I can't tell you because it would endanger you logic, you know? That always hides a larger truth that he tries to protect her from. I don't remember off the top of my head when Caleb's transition over to the fleet occurred. Was it before the bombing? We know he is definitely part of the Far Space Fleet after the bombing. But we also know MC discovers that the Far Space Fleet recruits from the DAA, and Caleb was involved with several of those secret missions. So the question becomes, how blurred were those lines pre-bombing? Yes, you're right. You're right, Nikki. He is in the suit. He is in the DAA uniform right up to the bombing. But I'm curious if the lines weren't already starting to blur behind the scenes. You know? I think, because that also circles back to the plot question, and we're not there yet. I'm getting ahead of myself, but we're already talking about the bombing and it's already everywhere. So at this point, it's spoilers, but not. We'll never know until the main story, but yes, you know, learning about Caleb via Gideon is always interesting. Some of the stories that are happening here. But I think that the fleet was already trying to recruit Caleb. I think there are implications for the bombing, because Ever being behind the bombing at Bloom Shore that kills Grandma and them, you have to ask what the motivation is. Because if they're trying to get MC back, killing her is not the right idea. Well, I mean, granted, yes, they know that she can survive because of her immortality thing, but the motivation behind the bombing is very interesting. It's clear but not clear at the same time. So we're going to get to that in chapter 4. I'm already talking about spoilers, but we should really be looking at some of the interesting sort of foreshadow they're doing, because it's clear the Far Space Fleet started recruiting Caleb before that. They hadn't, done what they did to him, and that we'll get to, but I feel like there was already an entanglement happening that we haven't seen yet for Caleb. And then what else? Oh, yes, Raphael. I'm sorry, Raphael, honey, fishy. I'm so sorry. So, finally, Raphael, in chapters 1 and 2, we learn is experimenting with metaflux-infused paint materials that cause hallucinations and alter perceptions. And then, plus the little excuse me moment where he pulls a dagger out of his chest like it's casual. The narrative is begging MC to ask follow-up questions, and she just doesn't. And I know I joke about this, and this is my ongoing gag with MC. But just one follow-up question. The dude just literally pulls a dagger out of his chest. And to be fair, she legit is like, the world is kind of crazy and weird, which is honestly extremely realistic. And when it's throwing weirdness at you, you just kind of roll with it. So in some ways I understand, but in other ways, and she's perfectly capable of answering and asking questions. We're going to see that in chapter 3. Like, it's very interesting. With Xavier, she's on him with questions, and with Rafikins, she's like, you just pulled a dagger out of your chest and started slinging fire as an artist. Totes my goats, we're cool. That makes sense. Like, nothing. But the other thing, before I move on further and bring this back to our time motif, is that the game introduces one of its first clear color motifs with Raphael. And you get that red and blue coming into play. So the obvious one is Reddy, the fish that Raphael wins in the street game, that becomes kind of their pet together, though Reddy is kept at Raphael's studio. The red also reflects his evol, which is fire. And then the blue covers so much because it's his identity as a Lumerian. It's also representative of the vow between the two of them, his heritage overall, and then of course his sea divinity, the sea god. I mean, these colors are very clearly not accidental, and they are almost treated like a visual shorthand for a running theme of duality within Raphael. Human versus God. Well, I should say more mortal versus God. And then desire versus duty, and then flame versus ocean. You know what? You're right, miss. It could literally just be, he's an artist. Artists are weird. Sometimes they pull daggers out of her chest, rolling on. Like, it could be that simple. She could be that simple and straightforward, and bless her for that. So with those plots in mind, with this as the spine, this is the heart, let's bring these boys into the looping motif. With Xavier and the Backtrackers, they exist because Xavier refuses a future where Philos survives by turning MC into a battery, a sacrifice, a mechanism. He's trying to find an alternative that saves the planet without using her body as the cost, essentially. Raphael is tied to Lumeria, to a civilization that falls because he refuses ascension, essentially, through her death. So Lumeria is lost because he won't reignite the flame of the sea god by sacrificing MC, by cutting out her heart. His defiance isn't a heroic speech or anything. It's literally a refusal so absolute it rewrites history for an entire people. And that fate just weighs on him so heavily. Zane is out here as the god of destruction, and he is trying to rewrite reality or find the reality where MC doesn't die. He's not negotiating with the rules. He's trying to break the structure that keeps demanding her death as payment. Now, Silas is fun. Silas is the inversion, and I don't know if you've noticed this. Yeah, Raph is really stuck with the trolley problem. That is an excellent summation of Raphael's fight, is that he is lost in one of the most screwed up trolley problems to ever exist. But back to Silas. Silas is the inversion. And I think it's also partially why his dynamic hits differently with MC. With Silas, MC is actually the first rebel. She refuses his death and separation. She binds his soul to immortality and declares that only she can provide him with the true death. It's a curse, it's a vow, and it flips the usual Maya Lee defies fate to save her structure on its head. Silas joins the cause, but she starts it. And then there's Caleb. Caleb just wants a world where they can be together and everyone stops taking pieces of them. He doesn't want divinity. He doesn't want cosmic rebellion as an identity. He wants the simplest, most impossible thing: a life that doesn't demand loss as the entry fee. So, when I say time might be the true villain, what I mean is the story keeps presenting fate and time as a system that demands sacrifice, and every route is a different attempt to cheat that system. Different strategies, same refusal. That's the main heart of all their plots. And it's why, in a way, Love and Deepspace isn't pick your favorite man. It's actually pick your favorite version of defiance. It's, you know, which rebellion speaks to you. Yes, Miss Fandom. Several times throughout the story, we will hear Caleb, whether in his myth or in his memories, imply something to the effect of, we were born from the same source, essentially. They are yin and yang, the alpha and omega. They are one and the same, two halves of a same coin. So that also has a very unique flavor to their overarching storyline. Now, after dropping all of that analysis on your head, I want to set a couple of expectations for moving forward. Here's how I'm going to run today's playthrough. I'm going to keep an eye on chat with you guys, and I'm generally hoping people join us, but I'm also structuring this so it works even if you're listening to it after the fact while you work or study or do chores. So I got feedback that asked me that I read the unvoiced sections aloud so that this can function like an audio experience. I love that. So yes, I will be reading the non-voiced acted texts out loud. Please be gentle. I am not a voice actor, but I will do my best. During the cutscenes, I'm going to stay quiet and let them play uninterrupted. If I want to analyze something, I'll pause at a clean break or wait until the cutscene ends, so anyone new to the story or anyone revisiting it gets the full experience without me talking over it. And then we'll unpack all the interesting bits together. Does that sound good? Yes. Even in the current multi-banner, Caleb absolutely makes the comment about the rib and invoking this Adam and Eve mythology that seems to kind of flutter around him with the apple motif, the fact that it was released, I think, in the year of the snake. They've definitely given Adam and Eve vibes as a lovely little thematic mythological motif for the Caleb MC storyline. You absolutely clocked that. Okay, so chapter 3, everybody, let's do this. I'm actually really excited because even though I've played the story all the way through, and I did replay the story before a while ago, I'm still catching new things. And it's just so well written, it's fun to experience it all over again. So chapter 3 is called Talented Hunter. And order number 85 is our first little subchapter here. So here we go. So here we have our commission. We are in No Hunt Zone 7. The status is active. Our task details, order number 85. A sudden fluctuation occurred in some districts of Lincoln City. Please proceed to investigate and resolve the crisis. Objective, clear the source of the fluctuation. Then we get to see that we have access granted, everything is going really well, but now you'll notice our companion signal has failed.
Situation's not looking good in No Hunt Zone number 7. The Alpha team needs to work in pairs. Our objective is to investigate and send back information. Prioritize your safety and don't get into unnecessary fights.
The Wanderers appearing outside the train isn't a random occurrence. Even if I defeated them, several other locations in Lincoln City still experienced energy fluctuations. While the mission is simple, the fact it's in No Hunt Zone number 7 makes it unique.
Partner rendezvous complete. We're entering Zone 1.
Enter Zone 3. We'll report back when needed.
How's Zone 4?
I've reached the entrance of Zone 4. I look around. I only hear the sound of rustling trees swaying in the night breeze. My partner isn't here yet. I wonder who our partner is.
It's been a couple of hours, and there are still no signs of them. The signal is getting worse, too. I can't keep waiting. I'll just head in first. Wasn't I here before? Ugh. No matter where I go, my surroundings look exactly the same. Wanderers? If I fight it head on, I'll die. That's for sure. Someone.
I'm going to pause this right here because I want you to take in this image. And the framing. Look at this. One, it's glorious. This is beautiful. That aside, look at how we're framing Xavier. Now, as we know, Xavier is an evolver and his evol is light. But interestingly, they don't frame him with the sun. They frame him with the moon. So, light at the end of darkness, light within darkness. And yes, for all of us playing the home game, let's all just start humming the Sailor Moon theme song, Hello Tuxedo Mask, Wave in the Distance. But the balance of this shot, the framing of it, I just want you to pin in your head, Xavier, the moon, and his unique relationship with wanderers. And look at this particular one. It's shadowy. Look, you could see its eyes. He's not being violent. He's reaching out to it. It's almost melancholy. It's melancholic. It's got a sense of sadness to it here, of him reaching out into the darkness, into the void, with this full moon lighting up behind him. Oh yeah, no, it's Sailor Moon is such a classic. It really is. And if you have the opportunity to do Crystal, I would definitely suggest that the I don't know if I want to call it a remake, but the new version of Sailor Moon is really well done. As much as I have a soft spot for the original one that I grew up on in the 90s. They were cousins, everybody. They were not cousins. They were so not cousins. Okay. Just wanted to pause right here so you could take in this image. Now let's keep going.
Is he comforting the Wanderer? It's that guy from the other day. It's me! We've met before, I swear! Back at the research base. After we escaped, you asked me to... Ah! You asked me to keep our meeting a secret.
It's Xavier's introduction here is really interesting to me. How he's playing this I don't know you game. And I'm going, son, what are you doing? Right, Nikki? I would absolutely throw a gun at his head. Right? He obviously recognizes her. He knows her. His decision to play it the way he's currently playing it. I don't know. I mean, from a crafts perspective, we could look at it through the lens of we are not meeting Xavier as in the Xavier that we know. We are meeting the Xavier that is traumatized. I mean, he's gone through at this point in his story arc so much. And yes, Miss, it's similar to Caleb pretending not to recognize MC when they reunite again. But to me, Caleb has a more genuine reason to play that game with the Fleet and Ever being literally right there. Now, I'm not saying that Xavier should be like, hey girl, I know you. And suddenly dumping past life trauma on her. But his decision to be so distant and essentially dismissive in a lot of ways, it reads a little like Raphael and his reaction. I think Xavier and Raphael both share this minor trauma in regards to abandonment. And it's not necessarily abandonment, but that same sense of separation. Even though Xavier's the one who made the decisions to do what he did. Xavier always made the decisions to do what he did. And I will absolutely go on a 2-hour-long rant about consent and agency and maybe just fucking talk to her. But Xavier is doing what he's doing, and it's that classic noble sacrifice thing we always see in the genre. He is emotionally closed off from her in some ways, but you can still see the love peeking through. He can't help himself, but he's trying so hard to kind of keep this emotional buffer between them at this point. Exactly. And I mean, they're also playing, I mean, Morgan, you bring up an excellent thing. It's for those listening to this after the fact, I want to read this out that Morgan put in the chat. But I also wonder how sucky it must be to realize how long it's been when you realize that the person you left your home for is no longer waiting for you. That is an excellent insight, because at this point, how long has it been in his actual timeline? Is MC still alive? He went back in times, forward in times. He and the Backtrackers are weaving in and out of time. Is his hope that, the hope that is dying essentially, is that he can get back to her as is? But he also gains the comfort of, even though the original versions that he knows, because at this point, before he meets MC here, he's met her twice before. Because there was the first version that we hear of for this Xavier, where, you know, she's sickly. They promise to go see the meteor shower and she dies. And then the version that we're introduced to, which is the one that's at the academy with him, the one that he puts on the throne. And now we have this version. So interestingly, of all the LIs, this Xavier has met MC 3 separate times in one life. Now, we could also get into the fact with the Dark Knight myth, he technically died, went back in time. There's timey-wimey Doctor Who shit all over the place. But Xavier has the unique perspective of single-handedly in a reincarnation meeting multiple versions of MC. And we'll also get some more of that perspective in the most recent drop, because we have, in the most recent release for the main story, a discussion about the backtrackers. And you get to see other backtrackers and how they view MC and her other incarnation, essentially. But yeah, it's Xavier's decision here and how he's playing it is very interesting. And I think we're seeing some of that trauma, that cost of being immortal and going for centuries and having lost her multiple times before. So I think he's still in his head, like Caleb's in his head of, if I keep my distance, I'm keeping you safe. Where for a lot of us, especially, you know, for those of us who identify as female, growing up in a society that constantly tries to strip our agency, tell her. The more information that we have, whether in real life or MC in the game, the better we are able to respond. And so while the intention is noble, all noble intentions lead to hell. The road to hell is paved with noble intentions. That's the phrase I was going for. There it is. That's kind of where we're getting here, and that's gonna come into play and get the boys in trouble, because the more they try to hide things from her, the more she goes off to do what she's going to do, because she is who she is. And so she stumbles recklessly into things and causes stuff that could technically be avoided if anybody had just sat her down, treated her like an adult, and just walked her through some critical information. Okay, that's enough of me babbling. Let's go into subchapter 3, which is, of course, Reunion Under Moon.
It's only a sprained ankle. Thank you for your help. I didn't expect us to meet again so soon.
And I didn't expect you to be brave enough to come here alone.
I didn't have a choice. My partner went missing.
The energy fluctuations make it easy to get lost. You should leave now that you hurt your ankle.
What about you? Aren't you worried about getting lost? Oh, wait. That's right. You can just poof whenever you want.
This forest isn't scary because of the unpredictable metaflux surges. Many Tenebrae came here seeking the high-grade protocores to sell on the market. But after obtaining them, the hunters were never seen again.
Why?
This forest is alive. It consumed them.
I'm not falling for it. I'm sort of scared. For me and my interpretation of MC, there really is only one response here. Given her recklessness and her stubbornness and her excellent sense of emotional intelligence, I'm gonna go for.
Scaring me won't work.
You have guts. I wish you the best of luck. Alright, we're not far from the edge of the forest. You'll be able to get to safety from here.
Wait, what about you? Why are you here?
Take care of yourself.
Seriously, Xavier. I didn't think you'd be brave enough. Liar. You know exactly who she is. She has not changed in any life form. That is, MC is far too stubborn to just not go. Okay, so now we go to the next chapter. A creeping fog enshrouds moonlight. The forest is even darker, and the evening wind resembles a sob. I carefully move my ankle and lift my watch to find there's no signal. I look at the spot where Xavier had vanished. He's a mysterious person. Could he be my mission partner? I was told I would be working with the best hunter, but if it's really Xavier, did the system make a mistake? A wanderer's roar cuts through the air. I tightly hold my gun. Did he run into trouble? No, that's impossible. If anything, the wanderer should be the one who's worried. The leaves rustle. It's not the wind. I glance behind me, a familiar figure emerging from the cover of the night. Why did you come back? Xavier's brow furrows as he scans his surroundings. He looks at the tree stump I'm sitting on. He realizes I haven't moved. He turns around, clearing his throat.
There are many wanderers here. I've already taken care of some of them. It should be safe for you to leave.
Thank you?
You're welcome.
He rushes off in another direction, vanishing into the forest. Before long, there's another wail from the wanderers. Within 10 minutes, a beam of light cleaves through the shrubs. Amidst the flurry of leaves and branches, Xavier and I lock eyes. Let me guess, you cleared out the wanderers on the other side.
Yes.
Another 10 minutes pass. I'm speechless as Xavier appears before me a third time. His expression, initially wary and awkward, has relaxed.
I've been thinking. Leaving an injured teammate behind isn't a good idea.
Really? Did you just come to that conclusion? Xavier. You crack me up. So you finally see me as your partner, huh? You don't look guilty. Xavier rubs his face, his gaze shifting to the perilous forest.
It's too dark for you to see.
Signal interference detected. Unable to retrieve information. Identity verification failed.
Okay, is it just me or does that particular voice actor sound like Caleb's voice actor? That's weird. Sorry, I just noticed that tone. I'm like, wait, Caleb? No? What? The hunter's watch glitches for the 5th time. The electronic light illuminating Xavier's expressionless face fades as I lower my arm.
Is my uniform not enough?
Anyone can wear a uniform. Given your suspicious behavior, I see no reason to confirm. Tell me something only a unicorn's hunter would know.
During the Chrono Rift catastrophe, the first wanderer to be killed was Tezcatlipoca. It happened.
Anyone can look that up on the internet. Try again. He lets out a soft sigh, raising his hand. Specks of starlight gradually gather around us. The light moves along his fingers, transforming into golden threads in the dark. A pattern composed of several diamonds appears. Surrounded by radiant light, Xavier quietly stares at me, waiting for me to speak. It looks pretty? He closes his eyes.
I'm asking if it looks familiar to you at all.
I stare at the complicated pattern again. No, should it be? The light flickers. Maybe Xavier was hoping to hear something else.
You'll see it soon. Keep an eye out for any ruins. This pattern can appear on the Flux Nexus.
Ooh, okay. Everybody. Flux Nexus. Pin that. I forgot. Oh, that's interesting. So this is another plot seed that we see come to fruition in the most recent drop of the main story. These Flux Nexuses will come back. I forgot that's what they were specifically looking for in the beginning. Oh, that's fascinating.
It's a device that captures metaflux. It's also the source of the fluctuations here. Our mission will be complete once we find it.
He sounds confident, but something is still off.
Has my identity been confirmed?
The Flux Nexus, Miss Vandam, pops up in the most recent story drop. And it becomes part of the main plot in terms of how what they need to hunt in order to fix a bigger problem. And I don't want to go further because I don't want to fully spoil the latest drops, but essentially the Flux Nexus is a device that has an effect on metaflux. That's the thing, the important bit. That's the part that you keep pinned in your head, because the Flux Nexus will come back into play. But it also has some implications in terms of why Xavier is really in this forest. No. Realizing the problem at hand, I take a step back. The objective said nothing about a pattern or flux nexus. You could have just made it up. And if this is some top secret info, how did you get it? You're getting even more suspicious by the second. Xavier seems stumped by all the questions. He waves his hand, golden light dissipating into particles.
Forget it. Think of me as a normal hunter who happened to be passing by.
Xavier, baby, you're really going to need to sell that a little harder. The pattern still lingers in my mind. I remember what Tara was telling me earlier. A stone steely. Stella? Steely. I never know how to pronounce this word correctly. A stone steely with peculiar symbols. Wait, can you describe what the Flux Nexus looks like? Like its size or the material it's made from?
Will you believe me, though? You wouldn't be able to confirm if it's all made up. And I'll be even more suspicious.
He's using my own words against me. You've already said a lot. It wouldn't hurt to say a few more things.
It doesn't have a set size. It could be mistaken for a stone sculpture.
His description matches up. The one at the abandoned research base should be the same thing. If the Flux Nexus really is the source of the fluctuations, then it could have caused an explosion. With looming trees blocking the moonlight, monsters roam the forest and howl. Their roars are accompanied by distant thunder. Xavier doesn't seem to have noticed being momentarily distracted. He slightly turns in the direction of the sound.
It doesn't matter. Let's get out of here first. How's your ankle?
So yes, we've got some very subtle weaving of Xavier's plot. Just little tiny breadcrumbs that they've placed for us to follow. The energy fluctuations aren't intense, but they're unpredictable. No wonder we keep getting lost. I use my evol to scan the surroundings while also looking for a way out. Xavier, why are we always trapped together whenever we meet?
Curious, is it not? Why do you always happen to be around when I'm in trouble?
Answering my question with another? That's not very nice. I sneak a glance at him just as he turns his head toward me. I act nonchalant and look away.
Shh.
Sensing something's off, his expression turns serious and I become quiet. In the dim light, a few steps away from the slope, are several wanderers on the move. Their bodies shimmer with an eerie electrical glow. They're around B rank, and wouldn't be that strong. They work in groups, manipulating the space around them to trap their prey. They're like spiders, waiting until their victims tire themselves out. Then they feast.
Correct.
Xavier takes a couple of steps, positioning himself in front of me. They're causing the spatial distortions. Explains why we've been walking in circles. Xavier, we should split up. I'll go.
We've been spotted.
In the blink of an eye, he vanishes. A few streaks of light slice through the murky night. Before I know it, all that remains at the bottom of the slope is Xavier's shadow holding his sword. The wanderers dissipate into dust, scattering to the wind. He sheathes his sword, turns around, and raises his head.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, it's nothing. Just talking to myself. Once I catch up to him, I check the area around us. The fluctuations have stopped.
This way.
Xavier walks ahead silently, puzzled. I follow after him until we stand in front of a boulder. Suddenly, a new path emerges behind it. Ooh. The warping of reality is really interesting. From a science perspective, the interactions in the world and how metaflux functions is very interesting. So we can see that metaflux, thanks to Raphael and his experimenting with questionable materials for his art, we can see that metaflux can cause hallucinations. We can see that there are some reality warping and, again, time warping abilities that can occur when you have enough metaflux. So here we go. Awakened Forest.
It seems harmless, but it's scary during combat.
Scary?
It's a compliment. Xavier, you told me to keep your presence there a secret. You also said you'd explain everything the next time we meet. Shouldn't you be saying something right now?
It's a long story.
Liar. Well, since we're on the same team, we have time to figure it out in the future. Oh, wait. You're a normal hunter who just happened to be passing by.
Do you need to keep your guard up?
You haven't exactly been honest. But now that I think about it, we've faced a few challenges together. Regardless of the secrets you're hiding, we can work together, for now.
Something's wrong with the fluctuation ahead. Get ready.
Okay. This place used to be a signal station. Wanderer.
It hasn't finished.
The metaflux is converging on the Wanderer. It's absorbing it.
It's an Aeon worm. It's the most dangerous species of Wanderer. The absorbed metaflux particles are being used to reconstruct it.
Is this the flux nexus you mentioned before? A stone sculpture.
Only a specific evol will be able to undo the lock on it. Try it.
Can this even be opened with my evol?
Sense its energy and use your evol to create the same fluctuations.
Something's inside. It's different than other protocors.
They're gone. We were just in time. However, the energy fluctuations prove that someone wants to resurrect the Aeon Worm. If a wanderer like that entered Blinkon, the consequences would be unimaginable.
Then there may be more than one flux nexus in this forest.
Shh. I heard something. The protofield has changed. The forest is waking up. Now.
Rawr. Okay, so yes, the whole thing with the protofields too. Don't they take you to a totally different place? Yes, we do find out through the world underneath and some of the anecdotes that there are those who have entered into the protofields, and it's almost like they're an interdimensional pocket of reality. They have their own structure. So it's a question of where do the protofields take us or those that enter in them? Are they like mini little wormholes that take you to an alternate reality? Are they just, as I said, pockets of interdimensional space and time? What is on the other side of that protofield is a very interesting question. And let's see, Morgan. Yeah, but do they always bring the same different places according to their evil type? I know the runes on the floor mean stuff too. I just don't understand what it is. Yes. There has not, I don't think there has been enough given yet in the world building and the story to fully explain what the runes are. But what I also find interesting is that you have Xavier sensing the fluctuations, which they make it very, how can I say this? With MC's evil, we know that because of being, quote, supposedly, let me rephrase, supposedly, from her perspective, ever since she was attacked by a wanderer during the Chrono Shift catastrophe 14 years ago, her evol has been unstable. Incredibly powerful, but unstable. And nobody's able to read it. And Jenna implied that her evol still has room to grow and develop new powers. So, of the things we've seen MC do with her evil, we've seen her be incredibly sensitive to fluctuations in the metaflux. We've seen her be able to differentiate between different metaflux energies at the same time, so she can almost trace them like signatures or footprints. We have seen her through, not necessarily in the main story, but in various memories, with her ability to resonate and therefore strengthen the combat power and strength of her partner's evil, whether that be Xavier, Caleb, Silas, Zane, or Raphael. In the memory with Caleb, and I'm forgetting the name of it, but it was during the beach banner, we watch her actually take control of his evil and use it herself. So she's able to take control of evils. That's really interesting and makes it even more obvious why Ever and everybody wants her back. The idea that MC could just casually hijack someone's evil. Now, with Silas's storyline, we learned that there needs to be a certain level of psychological openness on her part, but they never make it clear whether or not the other person is psychologically consenting to her resonating with them. One would make that assumption, but if that assumption is false and the other party doesn't actually need to be consenting, then MC could just take over someone's evil. And in the middle of battle, oh, that's a whole different kind of ball game. And definitely a power that Ever and other people would be interested in. It also makes her incredibly formidable and dangerous. Because it would be the one active version of her evil. Because her evil, at the most part, is support. It enhances other evils. She cannot, in fact, enhance herself. Now, when we are actually in combat and Nikki's wailing on everybody, we are able to use the evil of our partner in battle to do things. But she herself, without a person that has an active evil, a combat evil, like fire and water and energy and gravity, these things are active evils. These aren't support skills. Without an active evolver, she is very much human, and down to the strength of her body, the cunning of her mind, and her weapon. So she needs an active evolver to really wail on it. But if she's able to resonate with other evolvers, whether or not they're consenting, that gives her an active ability. And I'm wondering if that's going to come into play later. Now, granted, as I said, we don't see her specifically taking control of others' evils that I'm aware of until that particular moment in the beach banner in Caleb's memory. But that's something to keep in mind. Yes, absolutely, Ms. MC using Silas's evil. That could get both interesting and scary. Yes. And Morgan, yes, she's a battery at this point. At this point in the story, yes, she's very much a battery. She is an unlimited source of energy and potential. So, which again, in chapters 1 and 2, we learn that Jenna immediately went for her once the recruitment list was made public. And it was almost in this tone of Jenna knew exactly who MC was. And was waiting for the bye Nikki, waiting for the exact moment that she could publicly recruit MC. Now, could that be something specific to MC? Could it just be because Anhausen? I can't pronounce it. The Anhausen class, the resonance ability. MC's ability to resonate is a rare evil type, and there hasn't been one in a while. They established that pretty much sub-chapter 2 of chapter 1, that she is a rare evolver. So the question becomes, was Jenna interested because she has a rare evil type, or is there something personal to MC that Jenna is specifically after? Which goes back to my ongoing conspiracy theory of just exactly how much does Jenna know about what's going on, who MC is, not in terms of past lives and things like that, but in the present day plot line of MC versus Ever. And with Grandma Josephine and all of that, and her connection to Xavier, just what all does Jenna know? That's what I want to know. It's such like, doesn't it? Because Jenna and Xavier's relationship is really interesting to me. And given how old he is and how long he's been around, I do like it would be a fun little Easter egg or quirk to me that Xavier is the one that trained Jenna as a hunter and just nobody's talking about it. At this point, Ms., the evolver type we haven't seen, and I think during the Idol banner, I think to me this is part of the setup for the 6th LI. I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding the concept of a 6th LI and whether or not that love interest is going to drop, but they were very specific about Anhausen class, so MC's class of evolver, and then psychic types. Now, I don't recall if Caleb is considered a psychic type evolver because of gravity. It was kind of hinted a little bit that he was, but I think that the sixth ally is going to have a true psychic-based evol. I think that was a little bit of a Hansel and Gretel breadcrumb moment in the game, hinting at what kind of power the sixth love interest could have, which could be very interesting in terms of its implication. And I'm super excited. I really want to see. I'm hoping that a sixth love interest is dropped this year. My wallet isn't. My wallet is crying at the thought. My budget is crying at the thought. Especially since right now I'm in the middle of job hunting and all that stuff. So you know, have to be good about my budget. But I will sob into my wallet when and if that drops. But yeah, shape-shifting, or at least the illusion, changing your appearance, be possibly an evol. Yeah, I think with, if you think of the possible ramifications of a psychic evolver, they could make you see things that are not there. They could possibly hear your thoughts. I mean, there's a lot of ways they could take a psychic evolver. That would be interesting. Oh, you just used all of your blue wishes? Please not a sixth ally anytime soon. I think we have a little bit more time. I don't think we're there yet. I personally think that if they're going to drop the sixth ally, it's going to be around the next main story drop in terms of... So Death and Rebirth were Silas and Zane. And then our most recent drop, which is why am I blanking on the names of the most decent round? To Our Yesterday, that's it. To Our Yesterday, that was Xavier and Raphael's storyline. So from my perspective, we're gonna see the next main story drop should have Caleb's chapters, because at this point we've only had Homecoming Wings, which was Caleb's solo event of his introduction, just like Revelry was long-awaited Revelry was Silas's solo drop. So I'm thinking they're going to pair Caleb and the sixth ally for the next main story drop. That's my little pet theory. I don't know if it's true, but hopefully it will give us some time for everybody to rebuild their blue wish bank. So yeah, okay. Where are we? Where were we? Subchapter 8, Where Light Vanishes.
We can't go on like this. More just keeps showing up.
Hold on. We're safe now.
Thank you. The Wanderers were headed straight for us. It must be because of this protocore.
Let me check it.
Why is it...
It's been modified. Clearly the work of Anakinus.
Anakinus?
An organization stationed in the N-109 zone. Modifying protocores is their most infamous achievement. Let the Hunters Association handle it. They know what to do.
Aren't you coming back with me?
The moon is out now. It's much brighter than before. So this time, you won't get lost.
is my baby, Miffy. I love that they're already laying the breadcrumbs for Silas. And I had forgotten that's one of the few fully animated moments we get of Mephisto that is a lovely full image. You have a Mephisto plush? Oh, I am so jealous, Ms. I want a plushie so bad. I have that Grumpy Crow that is from the VIP box because I spent way too much money. But oh, I would love to get a Mephisto plushie. That would light up my life. Let's see. Morgan, that is a solid theory. The classes, according to the fandom wiki, are psychic, which includes Caleb because telekinesis. Yes, he does use his mind to manipulate gravity. So, okay, I was correct. I was remembering that he was part of the telekinesis group. Elemental, simulation, and Hansen. I don't understand what simulation might entail. Me too. I'm not entirely certain where that one's going. Oh, a little crocheted plushie. So cute. All right, now that our tuxedo mask, or Xavier, has ridden off into the sunset, the moonlight, as it were, let's see where we are, because we are almost to the end of chapter 3. Let's see where we go.
Oh my god! Monster! Run!
Rusty red rain falls from the sky and... Ooh. I'm going to pause for half a second so I can read this out. Oh, it's not going to give it. Sorry, guys. This is going a little too fast for me to read, but I'll do my best. I sense a powerful force. It's about to strike. Then the moon appears. That red eye in the sky. It seems to be blinking at me. The green light flickers like a blinking eye. Immediately, people cross the street, filling it like a flowing river. The same nightmare. I snap out of it and quickly fall in line with the rest of the crowd. So yeah, sorry guys, I wasn't able to read that fast enough, but we just had a flashback to the Chronos shift catastrophe. And that eye in the sky has returned once again. That's another ongoing theme that we keep seeing. Speaking of which, I wonder if there are any updates about the eye I saw outside the window. I need to ask Nero next time I see him. After leaving No Hunt Zone 7 last night, I sent the protocore to data analysis. I don't think that the red eye in the sky is Silas. It's something, especially given the most recent story chapter drop. Silas is not, there's a connection to Silas in that both MC and Silas are connected to the eye in the sky, as it were. I feel like I'm talking about a news channel. Welcome to Lincoln's Eye in the Sky. There is definitely a connection there, but it is not him. But yeah, Astra, there's a lot to unpack with Astra. There's so much there, and I'm not even certain I understand the full Astra-ness of Astra. But that eye, that watching, that God's eye, essentially, the cosmic universal God's eye, is something that keeps showing up around MC. And she has a definite, clear, strong connection to it. There is this interesting, I don't want to say debate, but there's this interesting connection where it feels like the eye is her and not her at the same time. I'm really curious about the eye, and we'll probably go into more in depth later in the main story because there are things that are revealed that I don't want to fully dive into until we have that, because then we'll have more meat on the bone to dissect and discuss. But I do want us to just, like the little analyzers that we are mining this story for things. Let's just pin it in the back of our heads. Giant creepy eye in the sky. Very important. The Flux Nexus, a modified protocores, and Onakainis. Xavier clearly knows a lot more than he's letting on. I shouldn't have let him slip away last night. Arriving at the lobby of the Unicorns building, I see a few hunters have been dispatched on some urgent missions. On their motorcycles, they zoom by on the Mauvert Bridge overhead and vanish. I just saw the 310 HM. It's so fast. When will I get to ride one?
Excuse me, sir. Can we have a short interview with you?
Sorry, I'm not interested.
I hear a familiar voice nearby. I look in the direction of where it came from. It's Xavier? He's wearing his hunter uniform. A journalist, microphone in hand, had stopped him by the road.
Why did you become a hunter? Is it a dream of yours?
No, I don't really have dreams.
Okay, Xavier, honey, that sounds really depressing.
Are you doing it for your family? It must be tough at your age.
No. Also, I'm the only person in my family.
That's rough. Cut this out. Let's do another take. Recently, there have been complaints of hunters destroying public facilities under the pretense of eliminating wanderers.
I'm sorry, my mission partner is waiting for me. I need to get to work.
Even with people around us, Xavier's gaze still finds its way to me. Before I can react, he's already walking toward me. He leans down, his face very close to mine.
Help me.
He's so cute. Coming to my senses, I glance at him, then at the relentless journalist and photographers hot on his heels. Beg me.
Please.
He really did. That reporter was like, dude, this is the most depressing backstory ever. We cannot put this on air. It's sunny, the wind's nice, and the streets are busy. Wanderers aren't lurking around the corner. Honestly, it's weird seeing you like this. I almost can't believe it. What's next? A terrorist attack? Is this building gonna blow up, or is there a new wanderer getting ready to attack?
You have already formed quite the impression of me.
If you join the briefing, I might change my preconceived notions about you.
Looks like everyone's here. Come on over.
Captain Jenna's voice resounds from the command center. I look around. 1, 2, 3. Is it really just us from the post-mission briefing? It's like such happy, perky music, and then we get back into the chapter music, which is so, like, moody and broody. But you see what I mean about how she reacts to Xavier? Like, a lot more questions, a lot more suspicion. Raphael, she just, whatever, that makes sense. Raphael's an eccentric artist and pulls daggers out of his chest. But Xavier, we've got a question. Xavier, we gotta poke him several times. It's just, it's such a different mood. It's funny. Xavier and I walk over to Jenna, who's leaning on the desk. Aside from a faint shadow under her eyes, there's hardly any sign of fatigue for her who just pulled an all-nighter.
We've been observing the fluctuations from last night. We also have the results from the protocore data you sent back.
The light dims, and the command center projects a hologram of a protocore. Like a planet, the protocore rotates slowly, enveloped by blue and red protocurves.
This is the protocore you sent this morning. I'm sure you've noticed it's been modified.
Is it the work of Anakinus? Jenna glances at Xavier, then back at me.
Getting along, I see. The blue line is the protocore's original protocurve. The red one shows it's been modified.
Okay, now that's an interesting addition to our blue and red color motif. Just as I was mentioning before, the duality. So let's keep that in mind. So blue is the original protocurve. Red shows that it has been modified. So in a sense, red is now also associated with the color of rebellion, of alteration, of defiance. Just an interesting little note here.
We initially wanted to analyze the protocurve to determine the protocore's origin, but after searching the system database 3 times, none of the data matched up.
How? Even if we can't find a perfect fit, we should at least determine its type, right? It's apparent Jenna thought of this before. She shakes her head.
Believe it or not, we've never seen anything like it.
The protocurve keeps changing. The red line is constantly flickering. It's a little unsettling.
It's possible there's a protocore even the Association isn't aware of. It also might serve another purpose.
A protocore with a different purpose. I glanced at Xavier. He's sitting in a swivel chair, hugging an auto pillow and spacing out. He's not joining our conversation anytime soon.
It's a gift from Anakinus. Obviously, they know more about this protocore than we do.
The hologram on the command center fades, and the light returns to normal.
We need to obtain more samples to get more information about this unknown protocore.
In order to do that, we'll have to use her evil?
The silent Xavier finally speaks. His face is expressionless as he rests his chin on the auto pillow. Jenna isn't surprised. She just nods. Again, see? This interplay between Jenna and Xavier. It's very interesting.
You know what her evol can do. It'd be good if she's willing to help us.
Once again, Jenna turns towards me.
Since Anakinus is involved, it'll be dangerous. Risks are par for the course. If you help, we'll provide you full support and protection. You'll have a partner to assist you as well.
Can I ask a few questions, Captain?
Speak.
So we have other modified protocores. Why does Anakinus? I want to start up here. Has the Hunters Association discovered modified protocores before?
Yes, but the methods used to modify them were crude. The potential damage they could have caused was minor at best. This time it's different. The energy shown in that abnormal protocurve is beyond our current understanding of protocores.
Why does Anakinus modify protocores?
The benefits a protocore provides are certainly tempting for groups like Anakinus. But the exact goal Anakinus wants to achieve by modifying protocores is still unknown. We speculate it's not about money, given Silas's track record.
Silas?
He's the leader of Anakinus.
Finding unknown protocors isn't something that can be done overnight. Today was just a small glimpse of what the overall mission would look like. Think about it. You worked hard last night. Take the next 2 days off.
Honestly, I would really love to have Jenna as my boss in real life. She's like so work-life balance oriented, and I love that for us. Oh, that's a great fortune. Your creative endeavors will flourish on a Tuesday. I feel like this fortune is fitting for this stream. Aw, that's a really good fortune. That's actually kind of really on point. Jenna's awesome. I love her as an NPC. The empty desk next to mine is yours. I thought it didn't belong to anyone. After Jenna leaves, it's just me and Xavier in the room. He's sitting in his chair, tears some packaging, and hands me half a loaf of bread as I lean on the table. The senior employees say the best scouts don't stay in the office. Why are you still here?
You need to decide
Me?
whether or not you'll help the Hunters Association find those protocors.
I nibble the bread. It's dry and bland. I don't understand how he's able to eat it. Before that, I want to ask about the thing you called a flux nexus. You and Captain Jenna didn't say anything about it. The association isn't even sure it exists. How do you know about it?
I don't know a lot about it. I just know its name. If you want, you can call it a protocor nexus, Fluxstone, or Terra Stellae if you like.
You're really good about dancing around a problem. Despite my burning curiosity, I've already been hit with tons of new information. I really need some time to digest it. All right, if I do help out, I want to ask about my partner. You've been in unicorns longer than me. You probably know more people. Any recommendations? Xavier pauses as he's taking another bite, seemingly surprised. I'm interested in his opinion.
My advice is that you don't join at all.
I expected as much. Actually, I do have something in mind. See, I choose you, definitely not you. I'll ask Advanced Tech Labs. For funsies, chat, which one would you like to see? I choose you. Definitely not you. I'll ask Advanced Tech Labs. I will admit I'm a little torn between the first option and the third option. You did Tech Labs, miss? I think I did the same. Let's try something new. We've already teamed up before. Why don't we make it official?
Really?
Aw, look at that face. You don't have to do anything. I just think your teleportability is pretty nice. If I run into some trouble and can't deal with it, I'll have you whisk me away.
So I'm just a tool.
Oh, listen to the pout. Listen to the pout. He's so pouty. The most useful one around.
Regardless of what you think, Unicorns has a lot of ways to get things done.
Xavier shoves the last piece of bread into his mouth and stands up.
Your evil might not be their only option. Don't stress about it.
I'm not feeling stressed. I also don't get why you're telling me to refuse. I have my own reasons if I do help out.
You might enter a world that's beyond your wildest imagination.
Has anyone said you suck at persuasion? Funnily enough, you just got me more interested. Moments later, Xavier sighs, as if he's made a compromise.
I should have known I couldn't scare you away.
Are you actually trying to make me back out, Xavier? Is that why you're actually here? He avoids my gaze.
Maybe I'm here to convince you to live with no regrets. Anything involving Anakinus is complicated. Who knows if the Hunters Association will refuse to tell you about the dangers that lie ahead. I was worried you wouldn't give it much thought and agree right away. And choose someone else to be your partner.
You think you know me? You're the one who doesn't think things through.
I see.
Oddly enough, Xavier doesn't argue. Instead, he gives me a surprisingly gentle smile and nods.
If you do get involved in the end, then could you choose me as your partner?
And that is the close of chapter 3. So, okay. So now we've established Xavier fully. We got a hint about how strong his evol is. We've introduced Silas. We've started spreading those little breadcrumbs for his later grand reveal. We've seen Mephi, and we've got Anakinus. Now, I do want to point out that the assumption is Anakinus has something to do with the modified protocors. Just like later in this chapter specifically, we have the, how do I say, the assumption regarding Anakinus's involvement with several bombings that occur. Anakinus is always presumed the villain, but then it turns out something else is going on. So the question becomes, is Anakinus actually involved in the modified protocors? Or is there something else going on? And if so, who? So we've got our threads evolving here. These little plot threads that we're building in this narrative and where it wants to take us. Now, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start chapter 4. Sorry, my bad. Under Twilight. Let's see how far we get. Yes, the chapter titles are very interesting. Okay. Okay. All right. You ready, everybody? Let's dive into chapter 4. Let's see how far we get.
Grandma, I'm home.
Ah, sweetie. You haven't been visiting often since you became a hunter. Did you miss me?
Of course. Something smells good. Is it roast pork? Oh, I've learned how to cook a new dish. Would you like to try it?
What happened to the pipsqueak who wouldn't even pour me a glass of water? Work has changed you. I should have talked you into becoming a hunter sooner.
Caleb? I thought I wouldn't see you until tomorrow at least.
What's wrong with coming home early to spend some time with you and Gran? Wash your hands. Let's eat.
How's your health, Grandma? Still getting headaches?
Oh, it's normal for people at my age to get them. I'm already used to it. I'll be fine as long as I take my medication.
But didn't the doctor say you should be hospitalized for observation? Are you sure the meds will be enough?
Oh, I just got out of the hospital. It's too crowded and noisy, and that won't help with my migraines.
Already a worrywart? You can rely on me to handle the family stuff. I've submitted an application form for a long-term care ward. It's safe, quiet, everything's been taken care of.
Wait, when did this happen? And why didn't you tell me?
Oh, Caleb, a decisive man as always. I didn't know about this either. If I need to stay in a hospital, you should visit me, all right? You can talk with Zane, have lunch with him too, perhaps.
Well, he's really busy, so...
Even the world's busiest guy has to eat. I haven't seen him in a long time. We should invite him over for dinner, right?
And we can kidnap him if he refuses.
Here's a message from... There have been many explosions recently throughout Lincoln City. The Hunters Association has concluded these incidents are connected to Wanderers. So far, 22 have been wounded, with no casualties. We advise all citizens to be careful when outside.
Explosions, huh? Hey, Pipsqueak, have there been a lot of active Wanderers lately?
Kind of. But it's fine. Lincoln has us. The Deep Space Hunters of today know what they're doing.
Well, even so, you shouldn't push yourself too hard, my dear. And be sure to be careful during your missions.
I know, but I'll be fine, Grandma. My eval works well against Wanderers. Besides, missions are often done in pairs. If we get hurt, we have backup.
Even if that's true, your safety is always the #1 priority in whatever mission you take. Your eval is great, I'm not arguing that, but who's to say it'll protect you all the time?
Huh? There are Wanderers in the neighborhood? Weird. I need to check it out. Grandma, Caleb, something's going on outside. I'm gonna take a look. Be back soon, promise.
Hey, wait up. I'm coming with you.
All right, so hey girl, hey, Caleb has entered the chat. Ooh, hold on. Gotta scroll up a little bit because I want to see what y'all put. I wonder if Ever knew that Caleb was home a day early or if that was a surprise to them. The long-term care seems interesting with more context. Maybe he knew something was going to happen and was trying to get ahead of it. That is an excellent theory, given how Caleb's mind works and how proactive he tries to be as opposed to reactionary. He could have been trying to get her into a more high-risk situation in terms of high risk for anybody trying to hurt her. It's one thing to go after her when she's in a home like this versus a center with a lot of people. That's a lot of collateral damage, a lot of workaround that could have provided enough of a security risk that anybody trying to go after Josephine would have had to think twice about doing so. Again, this comes down to we don't know if or why there was a target. Was Josephine the target? Is Caleb the target? Was MC the target? Who's the target and why blow the house? Like that's the, and granted, again, we're about to we're spoiling the rest of the story here in terms of this chapter, but I don't think it detracts from what we're going to see. But yeah, there's a lot of conflict, and I myself am with the group. Yes, miss, I'm with the group that I think Caleb has a complicated relationship with Grandma. Outside of his sole focus of MC, it's clear that Caleb remembers his past. where MC doesn't. And I think that for Caleb, swallowing down whatever he feels about Josephine, because again, we don't know if Josephine was a part of the experimentation that was done on Caleb. We just know that she was a part of the group. If Caleb had specific personal resentment towards her, or learned after the fact, because maybe again she wasn't involved in the experimentation done on him, so maybe he didn't connect her with Ever until later. There's a lot to theorize in regards to Caleb's feelings about Grandma and what that relationship is.
Caleb, what kind of hunter lets their childhood friend tag along to work with them?
I'm not tagging along with you, Pipsqueak. Just heading to the store for some vinegar and whatnot.
All right then. Well, we're just about to turn the corner. Go to the store and pick up your vinegar. Oh, and another thing. Better not walk out and start following me when my back is turned.
Yeah, secret mission, blah, blah, blah. Can't let unauthorized personnel in on the details.
Hurry up and go already. Also, I want some snacks. And fruit. Take all the time you need. I don't sense any fluctuations. I'll just walk around for a bit.
I continue my search along the blocks. My hunter's watch doesn't react to anything, but I sense fluctuations in the air. They're bouncing around. Is the fluctuation's source moving? Across the street, a man wearing a cap pops out of an alley. He turns slightly to the hovering patrol drone with compound eyes and fiddles with his hat. He's hiding something. Like sparks igniting a fire, the man's suspicious actions put me on high alert. As he moves, the watch on my wrist vibrates, showing the metaflux in the area is increasing. He's the source? I cross the street and begin following the suspicious man from a safe distance. He seems to have noticed me. He's walking faster. It's definitely him. I have to stop him. I walk faster, ready to send my coordinates to HQ with my hunter's watch. My right arm feels an intense pain all of a sudden, like I've been stabbed with a blade. A weapon? No, it's his evol.
I see you're actually smart. Too bad. I don't have time to play around.
The man's cold gaze scrutinizes me. He sounds way older than he looks. I hesitate. The figure rushes into an alley. I run after him, but he's already gone. I can't sense even a single fluctuation. Was he carrying a protocore? Or could he have been the source himself?
Why are you staring off into space? Mission's over.
The sound of footsteps stop next to me. I come to my senses. Caleb? Still concerned about what happened earlier, I don't know if I should tell him. I should keep it a secret for now, otherwise Grandma and Caleb will worry. Let's go back home and eat dinner first. I've made my choice, but when our gazes meet, my reluctance turns into guilt.
Did you find any big bad wanderers?
The fluctuations disappeared. Probably a false alarm.
A false alarm?
Caleb, what are you...
If it really was, then what's this?
Oh, I was petting a cat,
Got
and...
scratched by another stray cat, huh? I think maybe I should go find that cat so I can avenge you.
Caleb, don't. Come on. Grandma's waiting for us back at home.
So Caleb's timing is really interesting here. It's clear that he followed her, because of course Caleb would. But he was also paying very much a lot of attention to the news broadcast about the explosions. It's all ambiguous. Caleb could have been caught off guard. Caleb could actually know something's going on at a larger scale than MC does. They keep it just ambiguous enough to where you can interpret it in either direction. Yes. Yes. Morgan, that's a great point, that when Josephine went into the hospital, it might have triggered an alert forever in regards to her whereabouts and them trying to find her. But to be fair, I sincerely doubt this is the first time she's gone to the hospital. I mean, clearly she would probably gone to the hospital for MC and Caleb if they needed anything. But I don't know if she completely avoided hospitals until this point, because unfortunately she finally reached the point where she's just so old there's no way to get around it, and that finally alerted Ever. That, I mean, it's a viable theory, it's a good theory, it's an interesting theory. It does feel too circumstantial after so many years of radio silence forever. The timing is something to consider here. It's been 14 years since the Chrono Shift catastrophe. In, I forget what memory, story chapter, or whatnot, we know that Grandma adopted MC when she was 8 years old. So we know that Caleb and MC were in the foster care system together. The timeline is there, but also a little fudgy. And I definitely think it's something that I do want to sit down when I have the time to try and fully flesh out and figure out in terms of the exact who, what, when, where, why in order of operations, because we finally have enough puzzle pieces where we could possibly figure out a more accurate timeline, a more specific timeline, I should say. Maybe not accurate is not the right word, but specific. But yes, Josephine is definitely in hiding. I mean, she is hiding MC, she is hiding Caleb. That much is definite. That much I absolutely agree with. The question just becomes, again, where Ever is and what Ever's trying to do. And it seems from the most recent story drop that Ever has been aware of MC and her location from the get-go. So, and have just been hanging out and watching her cultivate like a flower in a garden, which is kind of creepy. So yeah, there's a lot of questions here. We've got a lot of questions. And at this point in the story, not enough to be going on with in terms of what Ever's actually fully doing in the background. Okay. Next part.
Caleb, I was telling the truth. It was just an accident. You and Grandma have enough to deal with.
I understand you want to hide it from Gran. We've caused her enough trouble since she brought us up together. Now that she's older, it wouldn't be a good idea to make her anxious. But why do you have to hide it from me? Can't you trust me now that we're all grown up?
I don't want you worrying about me. It's not often you get to come home these days, so ruining the mood is the last thing I want to do. Also, I'm a grown-up now. I need to be the one making sure I stay safe. you can't protect me forever.
Why is that a problem? If not me, who could you possibly turn to?
What's wrong?
You wouldn't understand even if I told you, Pipsqueak. Forget it. We've been outside for too long. Gran's gonna be worried.
You're doing it again. Go inside by yourself. I'm not your sidekick.
Fine. But hide the blood on your sleeve before heading inside. Since you're a grown-up now, I won't cover for you this time.
Oh, that gets me every time. It's so brutal. That's so brutal. But notice how something about that flash of a car suddenly changes his mind, his what he wants to say. And I'm wondering, is that just a coincidence? Was there somebody in the car? But he has this thought and he changes his mind. And then, of course, kablooey. And now we're left with the question, why blow the house? And I don't think Caleb was supposed to be home. I think the target was Josephine. Oh, Morgan. In my head, if I were MC and I woke up alone after the explosion, I would be destroyed by the assumption that Caleb had used his evol to push me out of the blast radius in his final moment. That's literally the only way she could have been so relatively unharmed. Funny enough, and not to do a shameless self-plug here, but yeah, I had the similar thought, and I ended up writing a fan fiction that I'm currently posting on AO3 called Protective Custody that deals with exactly this. It is a slow burn romance between MC and Silas, but the heart of it is trauma and survivor's guilt and this core wound within MC of Caleb choosing to die, essentially, to save her. And living with that guilt and how it manifests and her becoming reckless and borderline suicidal in how she approaches missions and the effect that has. And it bites her in the butt and she actually gets severely wounded and ends up being taken care of by Silas and the twins at the Anaconda Space. Because yes, it's devastating, the idea and the knowledge, and I'm with you that it's, and Caleb, you know, he uses his evol, that the idea that he had a choice, either save himself or save her, and every time it's save her. He saved her, and he could have possibly lived if, from her perspective right now, because as far as she's aware of, he's dead, that he could be alive if he had just chosen himself for once and didn't put her first. That is a lot of pressure and a lot of guilt. to put on someone. And Caleb didn't mean to, but that's unfortunately the result of his actions. Yes, I mean, it's not a surprise choice. It's an inevitable choice. It's a frustrating choice for her. Welcome back! You unfortunately missed Caleb and Grandma being flambéed. But yes, he's always been her protector. He has always put her first. She knows this, and it's actually a source of friction and irritation for her, especially now because she wants him to see her as an adult, as an equal. And this is a major theme within their evolving romance and relationship, is that she is afraid that he will never leave this this older brother mindset with her, that in order for them to be equals in a relationship together, to be partners, to be lovers, he needs to allow her autonomy and needs to treat her like a genuine partner. The desire to protect her is totally valid. She's not angry about that. It's when he removes her agency in the pursuit of that protection that becomes a problem and a source of friction. Also, Caleb having to recognize within himself that he has value outside of being needed, which is one of his core wounds. If he's not needed, then what purpose does he serve? If she doesn't need him, why exist? Why be together? Why do anything? Because Caleb hasn't quite gotten to the emotional point where, and to be frank, a lot of men have this issue as well, to understand the nuance between a want and a need. A need implies power imbalance, want implies equity. When you need someone, whoever you need has the power in the relationship. You need oxygen. You need to breathe. So oxygen technically kind of rules your life. If you don't have oxygen, you die. When you need something from your partner, be it financial, be it whatever, your partner has a certain level of power over you. You can't walk away when you need something. If you want something, that's more flexible. You can want something, but you don't need it. You can walk away. You still maintain some level of control. Whatever you want is kind of a luxury. It's not an essential. So for his coping mechanisms and his trauma, he is hyper focused on being needed. The one, not necessarily for the power imbalance, but because that need gives control. It gives a permanent bond. It ties her to him, which is all he wants. He just wants to be together with MC, and he is so rip-roaring insecure that if she doesn't need him, then she won't stay. That's his mindset. But as long as she needs him, she'll stay, and he won't lose her. So they're both looking at the same issue, wanting the same things, but passing each other like ships in the night. Because she's trying to make it clear to him, I don't need you to stick around. I want to stay with you. I want to be with you. I love you. But he doesn't hear that. He hears when she says, I don't need you, I can take care of myself. He just sees her pulling away, and all of his insecurities just goes batshit crazy, and he can't function. So that is an ongoing theme that will play out in their relationship, and plays out in this moment as well, where now she bears the burden of survivor's guilt. Caleb died to protect me. I'm alive because he's dead. Also, again, Grandma and Caleb are dead. Like, her entire family just exploded in a single moment. Her emotional support, her structure, her foundation. Yes, a beautiful cage is still a cage. Such a great line. Caleb, the journey of the relationship with Caleb is a journey in him learning to let go and have faith that she will stay, that he does not in fact need to cage her in order to keep her. But yes, so her emotional foundation, her stability have completely been rocked in this moment. This is a big moment for her. And now we get to see some of her unraveling. I wish there were more, which is why I ended up writing the story that I did. And in fact, Lord, I just finished drafting chapter 15. So I have one more interlude to finish drafting, and then I'll have the full manuscript done for the story. Which is a little surreal because I've been working on it so long. But also it's been emotionally taxing because the emotions are just so deep and complex, and to put yourself in the headspace of that level of grief, and going through the stages of grief. She's under a lot. I wish the game had dived a little bit more into it, but I understand narratively why they did what they did and how they did it, which we'll get to see. But now we've got the full setup. Now we've got the real inciting incident that puts her into play in terms of the Ever plot and what's going on. How did we get here? She moves out of just basic professional curiosity into full personal investment in the plot and what's going on. Why did this happen? Why did I lose everything? Yeah. I mean, we do. Zane, if you choose the right selection, Zane does have that moment. And say, hey, grief support. And then that's about it. We don't get more of a deep dive than that. And there's a lot of not explicit storytelling, but implicit storytelling. In some ways, they kind of leave a lot of blanks for you to fill with implied emotion, implied devastation on her behalf, implied grief on her behalf. Which again, narratively, I understand why they did that. It's a game. They can't just wallow. They can't, this is a moment where we get into the pros and cons and the specialities of various sources of media. The things that a game like this can do that a written book can't do, versus the things that a written book can do than what a game can do. It's not one is superior to the other, it's just different mediums have different strengths and allow for certain things more than others. Still not mad, still an excellent story, still well written and executed. But as someone who is deeply, as you say, empathetic, I needed and wanted a bit more emotionally than what the story is going to be able to give us. We don't get to really get into her head as deeply as we like, but that's why we all write fan fiction. Okay. Okay. Let's keep going here. Explosion at 502 Sunset Street, Bloomshore District. Survey results. 2 deaths. No evidence of human-triggered detonation detected. No remains of any detonation devices found. The deceased were not known to have had disputes or financial conflict of interest with any others. According to the evidence gathered, This was an accident caused by metaflux fluctuations.
After an injection of protocore energy, the success rate of clinical treatments dramatically improves. In other news, in recent months, the number of Wanderers in Lincoln has increased due to the fluctuations of metaflux. Metaflux-related explosions have currently left 35 people wounded with 2 casualties in Bloomshore District. We advise all citizens to be careful.
What are you doing here? I thought you were out on a mission again.
Yeah, I'll clock out soon. I just finished reading these reports. I'll turn them in a second.
You're working so hard. Handling all these missions and investigating metaflux incidents?
I refuse to believe what happened to me was just an accident.
I'm worried about you. How about we grab something to eat? My treat. Captain, I'll send you the report soon.
Thank you. I just got one about a protocore analysis. Who sent it?
Oh, yes. Sorry about that. That was me.
You okay? I bet you haven't gotten enough sleep. Rest. And don't be too hard on yourself.
I'm fine, Tara. Besides, I wouldn't dare fall asleep when...
Hi there. Just calling to remind you, you have an appointment today.
Dr. Grayson?
You had a transapical metaflux ablation last month, right? Dr. Zane has your medical report, but you'll need to get an eval cardiac examination first.
Okay. Zane. He'll be worried if I don't go. Captain.
Take care of your health first. Then, you'll have the energy to do other things.
Captain Jenna is here to support you in your work-life balance. She's so good. But seriously, so as you can see, we've got some of that implicit storytelling that's happening here. You know, they're implying that she's turned into a workaholic. She's clearly not sleeping. So we do get some of that grief. She's clearly devastated, and she's clearly using work as a means of controlling that grief. I don't think she's necessarily processing it fully in terms of how a therapist would have you do it. I think she is using... I think she's using work to numb herself, essentially, to give herself something active to do. If she can control this. She can't control her emotions. She can't bring back Grandma and Caleb, but she can work to find answers. And so she is putting all of her energy and all herself into that direction as a means of control, of reasserting control after such an incredible loss. But now we get Zane.
These are the results of your medical examination. Everything is ready for you. You can visit your doctor now.
Hello. My doctor is Dr. Zane. Is he available right now?
Follow me. Because of the recent Wanderer attacks, Dr. Zane has been working overtime.
Emergency operation in OR3. Call Grayson, stat.
On it.
Patient is elderly male. Prepare the pump for cardiopulmonary bypass.
Yes, of course.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's just very busy right now. Can you wait here for a bit if you're not in a hurry?
It's fine. The operation is more important. Thank you. Leading expert in the study of protocore syndrome. Appointed chief surgeon. Zane must be working overtime right now because more Wanderers are attacking people.
Our shift's finally over. Do you want to get some hot pot?
Oh, can't. I promised my granny we'd have dinner together later.
Grandma. Grandma. Caleb. If only we could have dinner together like before.
Morgan, that is an excellent question. I personally don't think Zane sleeps. He is never not at work. That man is... I'm just sitting there going, hey, Asko, you might want to hire a few more surgeons, because if Zane drops, I'm pretty sure that's your entire cardiac department at this point. Like, the man never gets a break.
Why the long face, Pipsqueak? I'm just going to Aerospace Academy. Shouldn't you be happy?
But it's all the way in Skyhaven. What if I suddenly crave your braised chicken wings?
Oh, don't be too sad. He'll be back for the holidays. And when he is, I'll make him cook for you every day.
Which means there's a reward for being your free personal chef. What is it? A send-off gift?
Who says
Don't
I got
think I
you?
haven't noticed you being all sneaky these past few days. I know what you've been doing.
Caleb, that's cheating. You can't just use your evol to take it.
I knew it'd be in a style you really like. Won't you put it on for me?
No way, don't you have hands?
No, I don't. Hurry, the train is about to leave.
If I see it's not with you next time, you'll be sorry.
His voice actor is so good. Caleb's voice actor is just so good.
Grandma. Caleb. I'm in Zane's office? Sorry, Zane. I must have fallen asleep while waiting for you.
You do realize it is 11 p.m., right? I had to move you because you wouldn't wake up after 3 attempts.
I've been busy with missions.
I do believe that there is a follow-up plan listed on your discharge summary. I suppose you didn't notice.
If I don't busy myself, then I'll think of that day. I've been dreaming about them whenever I close my eyes.
It's okay. I understand it's hard. You should do what you can while coping with your grief. Of course, you also need to make sure you aren't injured in the process. Caleb and your grandmother would want you to take good care of yourself.
I love how hard he starts out, and then as soon as she's like, by the way, I'm literally suffering under the weight of my grief, he's like, oh, right, I'm being a bit of a dick. Here's some candy. Sugar makes everything better. Like, oh, Zane, you awkward puppy. Yeah, seriously, honestly, I just live in Zane's office. Keep a bag of stuff and sleeping bag there. I'm sure Yvonne and Grayson would let me in. You know, yeah, I'm pretty sure he already does. I'm with Morgan on that. I'm pretty sure he already lives there. They've got like a whole bed set up for him. They're so used to it at this point. Like, I'm pretty sure one of those cabinets, they're like, oh, there's medical files. Nope, that's just Zane's stuff. He lives there now. Oh, okay. We've got 2 more subchapters. Let's carry on, my wayward son.
After the explosion, your cardiac function index significantly increased. It's most likely a result of the metaflux. At least 3 months of rest and observation are required, but your circumstances called for me to make an exception. Seeing your current state, I regret discharging you early.
I just want to know why the explosion had to happen.
Take it.
What is this?
Your grandmother asked that I give it to you. However, whether or not now is a good time. In any case, perhaps this has the answers you seek.
A letter? What else did Grandma say when she left the box with you?
Just to give it to you. Now you have everything you need. Go home and rest. Doctor's orders.
Wait, something's not right.
You're imagining things. Off you go now. Never mind, I'll see you off myself. Wait for me outside.
Protofield is already being formed.
Impeccable timing. Wonderful.
This wanderer is stronger than the ones I've faced before. Sorry, can't follow Doctor's orders right now.
Let's just focus on the situation at hand.
All right, pretend we did battle. It was awesome. We kicked butt, took names.
Is Oxo Hospital's flux stabilizer broken or something? How did a wanderer manage to get in? Your hand. Your evol is... Do you need help?
Keep your distance.
Zane, you...
Oh, no, baby, we're prying. We're absolutely prying.
You seem like you also need a doctor, huh?
I hope such a person exists.
Still, if this is a super important thing, why didn't Grandma give it to me sooner? I guess I'll never be able to ask her now. I'm going home. You don't need to come with me. I want to be alone for a while.
Diseases and accidents are inevitable. Some leave this world whether they want to or not. Don't stay trapped in the same place.
Wait, are you trying to make me feel better?
If it comforts you, even for a moment, then yes, I am. Your condition is serious. No more delaying treatment.
The time has come. The heavens have been more than kind to someone like me. Do you remember what you promised us? Well, if the worst case scenario happens, please take care of her on my behalf. You know, by helping her, you help yourself.
Even so, it shouldn't have come to this.
There you have it, everyone. The end of chapter 4. And Grandma and Zane, and clearly she knew. I think she's using us in more of that royal we kind of way. I think this is a localization moment in terms of translating how this was probably written in Chinese. But there also could be the implication that when she said promised us, that it could be her and Caleb. That Caleb also asked Zane that should anything happen to him, that Zane continue to look after MC if Caleb died. So there's two ways to look at that sentence. And goodness, hold on. I want to catch up on chat. Y'all were theorizing here, and I missed some stuff. Yes, look, it's, Oh, you're welcome, everybody. I'm glad that you're enjoying the stream and getting something out of this. I really love story analysis, and I think that there's just so much happening, especially with a lot of the revelations that came out with the most recent lore drop, that I wanted to go back to the beginning and play it with all of you and get your perspectives on some of these story beats and refresh our memories on things that have been discussed that we know are gonna that are now resolved, maybe discover new plot threads that haven't been fully addressed yet. So my goal is after that we complete the main story, because we're going to do the whole main story. After that, I want to dive into the world underneath for its lore and read that together with all of you, as well as go through play through the different memories with the various allies to expand our knowledge and our lore across all spheres. And really kind of enjoy all this content and all the little hidden things that are in there. But yes, I'm thinking, yeah, as yeah, Morgan, I think it's more of a it's either an allusion to Zane promising both Caleb and Grandma that he would take care of MC, or I think it could be a localization moment where Grandma is using more of something in the tone in English. We would refer to it as the royal we, where monarchs would use we instead of I when speaking. We think this. We approve this decision. So do you remember what you promised us? It has almost that same tone, that same elevated power structure in the syntax. Oh, good. I'm glad that this is helping you brainstorm for your own writing. There's a lot to play with in canon. I decided to play in this gap here. I mean, technically, my story, protective custody, is in the timeline in my mind, takes place, the start of it, chapter 1, takes place a few months after the explosion and after she comes back from the N109 zone. I'm trying to center it in that space in the timeline. But there is a lot to play with here. And we've got, again, the slight implication that Zane knows more about Grandma than we initially think or let on. I don't know if he's fully aware of her connection to Ever, but it almost feels like it to a degree. He knew something was going down. And yelleth timber. He knew something was going to go down. She's told him enough, I think. Grandma told him enough for him to have some sense of what's going on, and maybe not the full story, but what she felt was needed for him to be able to better protect MC in the case of her being dead. And in her mind, probably the worst case scenario, her and Caleb being dead, which is where MC is currently at in the story. We kind of know better, but as far as MC is concerned, Caleb and Grandma are both now officially dead. It's separate timelines. It is absolutely separate timelines. This is why we get to enjoy being a harem girly. It is all separate timelines. I will die on this hill. It's multitasking all of the LIs in a singular timeline is a challenge as a writer, especially if you're going off of the idea that she's only romancing one of them. I know that there are several authors out there that have her in polycules. Those are fun to read. But converting their romantic interest over into platonic energy and how that translates is a thought experiment, and one that I had to go through myself in terms of keeping how do you stay as close to canon as possible without violating basic logic and game canon and the works of your story. But yes, so chapter 3 and chapter 4, we've got a lot happening, and I think we've now can firmly say that we're officially in the thick of it. This was really the inciting incident of the story, is when the house explodes. That's what sends MC off into the world. That's what triggers her hero's journey, if we want to get into the technical meta-analysis of it all. So from here, next week, we will be diving into chapter 5, as well as chapter 6, Endless Night. I'm trying to do about 1 to 2 chapters a stream at the moment. We seem to be entering into a good clip on about roughly 2 chapters. We don't have a lot to add yet at the moment in terms of new themes and motifs, but I do want us to stay on target and keep in mind this ongoing discussion about time and how it relates to MC, how it relates to all of the love interests and all of their interpersonal struggles therein. That's something that we just need to keep above our head, as well as this ongoing eye in the sky, which totally makes her sound like a news reporter. But the eye in the sky, this sense of watchingness, being watched by by the divine, being watched by the powers that be, whoever is in that tunnel. Like there's a lot happening right there. So I'm looking forward to revisiting the next 2 chapters to see to reopen some of the things that we may have missed the first time or forgotten as time went on, because there's just so much. There's so many layers, so many plots, so many characters to multitask. And then, yes, Ms., we're starting to get our second color motif going with Caleb and MC and the red and green apples. Now, those are specific to them in regards to those two, to the apples themselves. You don't necessarily see red and green being around them in a more consistent way like you see with red and blue with Raphael and MC. Because Caleb's Evol is represented in a purple fashion, and MC's tends to be gold. So we're probably going to find other color motifs in the story, but we do want to keep in mind and keep an eye on the red and green apple as the apple symbolism. That's going to come into play. But we're also getting ahead of ourselves because we've got a we got a lot to get through before we have Caleb's return and that emotional devastation. But yes, the color choices for each of the love interests and what they're doing is very purposeful. I do believe there are not, there may be a few coincidences, but I think that there were deliberate decisions made in a lot of things that they were doing. Whether it be the blue and red motif for Raphael, how they are framing Xavier and his relationship to the moon, and framing his source of light as not the sun, but the moon. Which is also very interesting, by the way, if you think about it, just to hop on the analysis train for a hot second before I need to close out this stream. The sun is typically associated with men, with masculine energy. And the moon tends to be related more towards feminine energy. So it's very interesting that they're aligning Xavier with a more feminine space, a feminine energy line, which I love. And this isn't, I don't want anybody to misinterpret that as me saying he's weaker or getting into some silly little gender fight over men are stronger, women are weaker, feminizing him, la la la. This is different. This is about energies. This is about symbolic spaces. And I think it's an interesting choice, and I love this choice, that they're placing Xavier with the moon. Now, I will probably do some more research on the moon in terms of its interpretations and symbols within Eastern mythology and folklore, to see if that pops anything. And I will certainly be reporting my findings on the next stream. Yes, Miss, you do bring up the highly scientific point that yes, the light reflecting off the moon is the light of the sun. So yes, you have that combination in terms of Xavier represents the moon, and you could argue that MC is the sun because not only is he reflecting her light, but he revolves around her in saving her life, in being with her happiness. He revolves around her. So there is that more literal translation there. Yes, and again, having rebirth associated with MC, who I have joked before on the podcast is a phoenix. Again, all of this very purposeful, very intentional. So it's kind of up to us to treat this story like a treasure hunt and to really dig into the meat. And the more we dig in, I think the more we really get out of it, the more we find. So I'm sincerely happy that I have both of you here today to join me on this little journey. And for anybody who's watching this after the fact, and that wasn't able to make the live stream, I'm also happy that you're here as well, joining me on this little adventure into theories and lore and story, beyond my usual neck of the woods of ogling our pretty boys, our pretty boys. And I look forward to, yes, the more satisfying it'll be when the pieces have come together in the context. Yes, as we continue the story, I'm looking forward to our revelations and whether all of our little pet theories are proven correct, as well as discovering where we were all really off base. I know we can get some pretty wild theories in our fandom, so I'm excited to put them all to the test and see where we go from here. But for now, I need to bring this stream to a close, as much fun as I've been having with the both of you. And I need to get ready, as Nikki and I will be recording the next episode of the podcast in 2 hours or so. So I need to hydrate. By the way, everybody, hydrate. If you haven't had a drink yet, eat something. Hydrate. Hey, Nikki. Welcome back, babe. But yeah, so Nikki and I will be recording the next episode of the podcast, which will be dropping right as I peace out. Your timing, as always, darling, has been just fabulous. But yes, so the new episode of the podcast will drop Thursday, as always. So I hope you look forward to that. I will be streaming again this Thursday for our Void Snacks stream, where we will be doing part 2 of Killer Frequency and finishing off the game. If Killer Frequency ends before the 3 hours are up, I'm trying to have the streams be about 3 hours each. If Killer Frequency ends early enough, I may preview our next game on the list, which I will hold off from saying what that is now, so it'll be a surprise on the stream. And then so Thursday stream will be from 6 to 9 Pacific, and then our Saturday Midnight Masochist stream will be from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Pacific, Saturday night, and we will continue with the Quarry. I believe we've gotten through the first 2 chapters of the Quarry, so from my understanding, my poor little heart is going to be in trouble, because we're going to get to the meat of the horror show that's going to be. So yes, I the Quarry is terrifying. It's gonna be, we're gonna be hitting all the things. I'm gonna try so hard to save everybody, guys. I don't know how well I'm gonna do, and I'm probably gonna scream my head off because I'm such a scaredy cat, but we're gonna do our best all the way through. And, we're gonna enjoy stories, even the stories that scare the crap out of us. So, again, thanks everybody. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, and I look forward to seeing you either on my streams later this week, or seeing you back here next week for our chapters 5 and 6 of Love and Deepspace. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great night.